Stadium, the Delta Stadium. We'll do some advertising. You know, and when the issue is, they need to define, if I fly Delta, what will be different about the experience and something that I will care about. Now, some of the successful airlines have done that, but most of them are focused on this side of the equation, which is let's just build some awareness, tell people we fly between New York and Fort Lauderdale, and I'm sure they'll be interested in jumping on the plane. Which is true if they're the only ones flying between New York and Fort Lauderdale, but if there are 5 airlines flying between New York and Fort Lauderdale, then you want to know why should I fly one or the other, and if not, what do? If you can't tell the difference,
Price.
you don't pay the difference. So then, if there's no difference, and there's an American flight, a Delta flight, a Continental flight, you'll pick the cheapest one, and if it's not able to drive preference on price, then you don't have a strong brand. This is another pattern, which is differentiation and relevance is higher than esteem and knowledge. And I just picked Toblerone. There are a number of them in there. And this is a, are you working Toblerone?
I was working on one last night.
Oh, okay. I didn't bring any with me.
It's really good.
And so this is a good situation from a brand meaning point of view. That means you have something different that people care about, you know, terrific tasting Swiss chocolate. And the issue is not many people know about it. So this is a perfect opportunity to say, look, the problem we have to solve here is we need to get our story out there. We need to connect with consumers. This is more of a branding problem. So the first 2 problems are brand problems, where you don't have the right combination of relevant differentiation. And these problems, this is a problem of, you know, branding. You need to somehow get out with your story to tell people what's different and relevant. And of course, no surprise, some brands do well in all colors, and they tend to be very strong brands. So, in terms of level setting, the brand is what you stand for. Most important thing, relevant differentiation. And signaling, the most important thing is not to think of just one signal. It's not just about the advertising or the website or the customer service. It's about the entire customer experience and how are you getting across the entire customer experience, how are you getting your brand meaning across? All right? The final piece of level setting, just to make sure we're all speaking the same language, that brand building theory is incredibly simple. You know, it's not hard to do. You need to stand for something different that people care about, identify a core, relevant, really differentiated idea. You need to, what I call, get it simple and sticky, so people can get it, and you know, you don't have to spend an hour presenting it because you can't communicate. Brands don't work that way. Brands are shortcuts, right? I can't figure out the difference between one camera and another. I'm going to buy a Nikon because I think it, you know, will take better pictures versus a Sony. You're not typically going to sit down and review a list of 20 features and say, well, the Nikon has this many pixels, this type of lens, this type. You might do some of that today, but you're not going to go through 20 attributes and say, well, let me run an Excel spreadsheet, and on this side I'll put the 15 attributes from the Nikon, and on this side I'll put the 15 attributes, and you know, while you're in the aisle of Best Buy trying to figure it out. So a good brand is going to be a shortcut. And then you need to drive it inside out across the customer experience. Everyone inside the company needs to get it, and you need to make sure the customer gets it. Now that's very simple theory. What's hard is executing. And most companies, you know, get the theory, but fall down in the execution. It's very hard. To start off with the first one, most products are not that different in ways people care about. Okay. So, with that level setting, the question then becomes, in terms of the digital perspective, what impact is all those terms and the new technology had on it? And my premise is that it hasn't changed the basic theory, the basic fundamentals of how you build a brand, how you have great branding. It has put a magnifying glass on it. It has increased the impact. It is magnifying what has always been true, and it's helping you do things that are important in perhaps easier ways. So let me talk a little bit about how some of these things are happening. First, we'll start with brand and relevant differentiation. The most important, the way you start trying to figure out something, how do you start trying to figure out what could you stand for that would be different in the way that people would care about? How would you start that process? Yes. You look at what you currently have, your strength. That's one way. Say, here's what I stand for. Here's what I can do. Some other ideas. How else would you start that process? If you say, I need to stand for something different that people care about, how would you start that process? One more guess before we move on.
Maybe try to solve a problem.
Pardon me?
Try to solve a problem.
Yeah, you'd want to go out and find what issues, what problems do people have? You know, when they're shopping for a camera, you know, if you want to introduce a new digital camera and you're a new company or even an existing company, you say, all right, if I want to get into the digital camera space, you know, what problems are people having? You know, are they finding the battery life ain't working? Are they finding every time they take a picture, when, you know, the thing needs a charge, and the charger doesn't, you know, they can't find their charger anymore, or the memory stick is full at the worst possible. You know, what are the problems that they're having? And so how you do that is by getting close to your consumer. So one of the neat things about digital is it lets you become a fly on the wall. It lets you become really, it's an incredibly powerful way to find out what's on consumers' minds. In the Mad Men days, when I started in the advertising business, you know, you'd have to go to focus groups and fly out to Peoria and get 20 people in a room and ask them, tell me something about digital photography, and what do you like about your current camera, and what don't you like, and what frustrates you. But today, as you know, you can pop online, and the funny thing about online is that people are sharing everything. They're like on the analyst couch. They're totally open, and they think, you know, that they're sharing everything online. So there are many, many tools from, you know, tweet scan. This is a little conversation I picked up. We work on Verizon. So Verizon is obviously a very hot button. People are very quick to tell you what they don't like about their cell service, what they don't like about their phone service, what the issues are. So there are a number of tools, and most of you already know them. You can just sit back and say, you know, what are people talking about? What are they complaining about? What are they saying? Another one is brand tags. Here is brand tags just highlights what conversations is this computer program picking up. And the bigger the type, the more the conversation. So I typed in HP, and for HP, you know, at any given day, we'll just pop onto it now. You can see what words are coming up: big, bad, blah, blue, boring, broken, business calculator, card. And you can scan, and it tells you what conversations are going on. And it's just one of many tools. So quickly, you can start to get a sense of your HP, and you're thinking of how am I going to differentiate my brand. You can quickly get a sense of what are people talking about, what are the problems they have, and what might be the starting point to find something different, right? Because if you're going to try to stand for something different, you need to know what's on consumers' mind. And the best marketers have always been very good at identifying consumer insights. If you say, what's Procter & Gamble really good at? Their strengths over the years are sort of twofold. One is to really get consumer insights, and consumer insights may be different. It may be different than what people are saying. They may be saying, you know, I want a longer battery life on my digital camera. But what they really mean is they don't want the, you know, they may mean something different. They mean they don't want the hassle of worrying about it. You know, so it's not just literally what they're saying. It's what underlying insights. And then Procter & Gamble is also very good about then saying once they find a problem, developing some technology to solve that problem. So the best marketers typically do that. So the most important thing in building brands is to stand for something relevant and different. And the digital tools help you get at consumer insights faster, help you stay in touch with your market better, and help you become a better listener. One of the big challenges companies have is now that all these conversations going on, people are blogging, people are having conversations on Facebook, all these conversations are going on. Companies are not really good at, no one's very good at it, but companies are particularly bad at listening. And so a big challenge inside the company now is to make sure they spend time listening online and offline to the consumer. The other thing that's going on with digital is that while relevance and differentiation are important and they're important together, relevance is becoming more important because in the old model, if I wanted to tell you something, I'm not torturing you with a camera, about a new digital camera, you know, I would, you'd be sitting on your couch, you may not